Well, howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non binary friends, and welcome to this a brand new day. It is gray and foggy outside. Yay, kind of chill, but not freezing. And I went walkies, of course, I go walkies every night by myself. 6 mile plus round trip, and it was chill, but I, of course, even with it being cold and my sleeves rolled up, I was overheating toward the end. Yay! At least I got some sleep last night. Not a ton, but some, so that's a good thing, and hopefully you're feeling good as well. And front loading of videos. Hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be awesome. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be very cool. If you could what else is there? If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These are literally beautiful and literally awesome people who are helping to keep me and my aging pet metabolizing and alive. I and my aging pet appreciate that very, very much. If you would like to be a beautiful person who is helping to keep me and my aging pet metabolizing, I have links in the video description. And there are also links to a PayPal for possible donations, an Amazon wish list link with pet food on it, and there's a post office box that is going away at the end of the month. I need to take those out of the video description. Well, the post office box. Thumbs up. Front loading of videos over. I need to cough. Yay. I have been coughing this morning, as I cough every morning. Unfortunately, I have a slight smoker's cough when I wake up because I smoke cannabis like a chimney for pain. So thumbs up on that. Past that, there's one big thing I want to talk about, which leads into another big subject, and I realized something this morning. Because I have all of this solo RPG stuff, this is all really, really new. If you are, just started watching, and hopefully there are a few people that fall into that category, this is all new. I've just gotten all this solo RPG stuff in the past couple months. My wife died in 2014, and I have been struggling to recover ever since. I realized that these are the first things that I have bought for me since my wife died in 2014. I think buying this solo RPG stuff is showing not only that I am recovering, but is now the next part of my recovery. Not the, oh, you're playing a game by yourself part. I mean, that can be both good and bad. But the fact that I'm spending things on me that aren't just sheer survival. So that's good. Definitely a thumbs up. And I plan on doing much, much more of these things for the channel. I just got to be able to break through the executive dysfunction from the ADHD. So joy on that part. Now, I want to talk about ever since the death of my wife in 2014. I was born in 1962, and so I spent the first 10 years of my life growing up in the late 60s, and then the next portion of my life when I was going on through kindergarten and first grade and all that through the early and then the late 70s, and then graduating from high school in 1981, spending 4 years in the Air Force and coming out at age 23, and then from 23 to 38 in the year 2000, I just bummed around and just did this, that, and the other until I became a nurse's aide in 1989, and I spent until 2000-ish as a nurse's aide. Now, another part of the story that's important is my mother divorced my genetic father when I was only 1 year old, and then remarried another person. They also divorced when I was younger. One of the things I remember about that is my mother sitting in darkness down in the basement, and then I and my sister holding on to her and crying as she was crying because she had found her husband that she had loved in bed with somebody else. So that was not good. Another thing that I discovered through my feelings, vague memories, and then discovering and going on and exploring and remembering. And I had suffered SA, and hopefully you know what all these things are because I don't want to get demonetized, as a younger child. And it was my stepfather that did so. And that's joyous. So I'm still dealing with all those issues. Now we go on to my drinking, because I started drinking before I was 10 years old to deal with the pain of trying to understand what was happening to me. By the time I was in high school, I was a functioning alcoholic. By the time I went into the Air Force, I was drinking so much that it was physically starting to affect me. I could not even type on my typewriter to write stories because I would get too drunk. So that was great. And then I got out of the Air Force, and as stated, I bummed around from 1983 to 1989, and then I became a nurse's aide. I spent the next, up until the year 2000, working as a nurse's aide and having my alcoholism deepen and deepen and deepen. I should have died in the year 2000. I blew a .545 on a breathalyzer. At .2, you are badly drunk. At .3, most people are having issues staying conscious. .4, you are mostly, if you're not in serious trouble trying to stay alive, that's amazing. .5, most people are just dead. And I remember that night when I blew a .545. When they did blood tests on me, they were amazed at the place that I went for my rehab, because they had never seen anyone with as high an ammonia count in their body that wasn't on an autopsy table. So I am living on not borrowed time, but everything since then I figure is just gravy. I mean, it's amazing that I am alive. But it took me several rehabs before I got sober. But once I finally did, I started work at this one nursing home, and there was this one nurse there that I was bumming around with until finally her friends, because they were watching the both of us wanting to connect but unable to take the first move, either of us. And so they invited her to go see Harry Potter. And they invited me to go see Harry Potter. And then once both of us were a part of the group, everybody else bowed out. So it was just the two of us. And so we just started dating. And then we got married. And then we had children. We were married for 12 years. We got married in 2002. And she spent 10 of those 12 years dying. She had a lot of issues when she was younger, not just with her family. Her father was a narcissist psychopath. But also she had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma that they could not get any doctor to take seriously. She was born in 71, 9 years younger than me. By the time she was in her teens, she had baseball-sized tumors all around that finally they got removed when they found a doctor who would listen. And they did exploratory surgery, so when I married her, she had a scar from her solar plexus down to her pubic bone. 2 years into our marriage, things started to fall apart for her physically, because to treat her non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, she was one of the very last few people that they used high doses of radiation and high doses of chemo. And they were stopping doing that because they found that it saved you here, but then you died later. So if you got it when you were age 15, around age 30, you died. She got it when she was younger. She was like 30, 31 when we got married. Born in 71, I had just turned 40, she had just turned 30. And her heart started to go because of the chemo and the radiation. She had to have heart surgery because she had had a failing heart valve. But by this time, 2 of them had failed entirely, and they had to be mechanically replaced. 2 others failed entirely as well. And those were being treated medically with drugs. She took a literal handful of medications to stay alive. There are potassium tablets that you can take medicinally for prescription. They are strong enough that if a normal person takes more than you need, you can have serious cardiac issues. She took enough potassium in one dose that it would have killed a normal person, and she took it 4 times a day. She was on so many diuretics that even at that, she was having so much potassium flushed out of her that taking that much of it still barely kept her going. It was horrific, and it only got worse from there. Her condition slowly declined, and she only told me later on that the doctors told her they only expected her to have 5 years. She lived for 10, and during those 10 years she slowly died, going from a vital person who used to work as a licensed practical nurse, the kind of person that if she broke a leg, she would still work until people forced her to go and take care of her broken leg. Very independent, very strong-minded, very go-get-em. Did all sorts of work for Rainbow Girls and all this, which is an offshoot of, the Freemasons and JCs and all that. But very active. And afterward, her life just got smaller and smaller and smaller until just the very last year of her life, she just sat on a couch in our living room, watched TV. I would help her to the bathroom. She would come back and sit on the couch and just watch TV. And then she died in 2014 on hospice, in our living room in a hospital bed, where I was awake until she breathed her last in the bed, and she was dead. So that was joyous. Then calling the coroners to come and take her away, and she was cremated. And I have spent the last 9 years recovering from all of this. I mean, I was undiagnosed with severe ADHD as a child. It has affected me negatively my entire life, and I did not realize what the issue was until the last couple of years. I did not realize and have been undiagnosed as an autistic person until semi-recently, the past couple of years. This, because I did not realize it, has impacted my life negatively my entire life. Even before all that, well, not to mention, of course, the depression, biological depression that often goes with all these things. So yeah, I had the trifecta there. The depression, ADHD, and being an autistic person. No wonder my life fell apart before I even started it. I had no ideas that not only in the game of life was everybody else being dealt perfect hands of cards, that my hand of cards not only had the instructions for like gin rummy and old maid as part of the cards, but half of them were just jokers and random cards. And I never realized just how crippled I was. Which I'm not saying is, anything else that anybody else in life goes through, because undoubtedly that's your life too. Not that you're an autistic person with ADHD and depression. No, only that you have things happening in your life that are just as, good, bad, or neutral happening in your life as I have happening in mine. This is just what I have discovered. But by the time I had gotten married to my wife, I was a badly broken person, especially with my alcoholism. I was spending all of my time I would work, I would get off work, I would drink and be online until it was time to pass out, and then I would black out until it was time to wake up and work. My life was a nightmare, and I was desperate to get out of it. Going to rehab and all that was good, but when I met my wife, I was still broken. And my recovery from my alcoholism undoubtedly took a very negative hit when my wife started to die in front of my eyes over a 10-year period. I am estranged from my two biological children and my oldest, who was from my wife of a previous marriage, because we had to give our children over to her sister, my sister-in-law, to be taken care of, because it was a full-time job taking care of Jennifer. I couldn't do anything else. I was terrified to even leave to go to the store or go on a walk, because so many times, and I mean literally over 20, where I was with her, and only because I was sharp, caught what was happening, made an instant snap decision, got the help that was necessary, and if I had not been as fast, if I had not been as observant, if I had not been there, she would have been gone a long time earlier than 2014. So I was terrified to leave her side, and our orbit just got tighter and tighter. And so when my wife finally died and I lost my house, I moved into my brother and sister-in-law's home, into their garage, and I lived in their garage for a year until they lost their home. Something happened that I have no idea what. If you go back in time, like 2015, something happened where my brother-in-law decided I had done something. I don't know what. And I got punished severely for it. And after that, my children were told I was a very bad, evil person. And now they went from like age 10, well, not age 10, like to age 14 or so, to now being told I was a bad, bad, evil, awful person. So that's all fun too. But again, this all ties down to, up until the year 2000, I had done nothing for me aside from drink, which wasn't for me. During my marriage, I was falling apart because my wife was dying, and I did nothing for me. Since my wife has died, and from 2014 until now, I have just been basically surviving. I started my channel to keep myself alive. Even though I have done reactions and creative stuff, it has all been to stay alive since she died. This stuff is the first real stuff that I have been buying for me in decades. So I think that that's a pretty good sign of recovery. It's taken a while, but I've done it. And of course, thank you very, very much if you have watched this far. It is greatly appreciated. No one's forcing you to watch or listen, so if you do so, it is appreciated. You are doing so of your own volition. I'm going to open up 24 hours. Well, I have opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and I'm going to go through and thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended, and even though I count in American Sign Language, well, Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much, and our world is terrifying, but always good to see you in the comments. We have David Braithwaite, thumbs up, thank you very much. And they had a very good idea. I had monsters spawning from nowhere in my base in Minecraft. They could be spawning in darkness and riding down on waterfalls. Hokey smokes. Thank you very, very much. I never would have thought of that. J-A-Y-Y, greatly appreciated. And yup, oh, watch out for that bus. Blue Toad, well, Glorge Flurb as well. Flora Mew with a whole bunch of really good things that I didn't have a chance to talk about anything other than just my wife and such. But good to see you in the comments. And Chris, thumbs up, thank you. And there is Shinra. Boy, I hope to get my machine ball put together soon, real soon. But yeah, thumbs up and thank you. There is Catch Me, spelled with a C4TCH. Thumbs up and thank you. 77 Arc Tourist. Morrowind, one of my favorite games in the entire world. I like the Open Morrowind project as well. Then we have RJ Mitchell. Thumbs up, and I went and talked so much I don't even have a chance to say anything more than very cool. Thumbs up, thank you, and I am glad that it went very, very good for you. A very good thing. And that is it. 10 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours to get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, son of a gun, I am going to do what I can today. Maybe I can make some phone calls, maybe I can't, I don't know. I do want to do some of this stuff for the channel. So we shall see if I can manage to do that, or if I'm going to be broken and do more Minecraft. We shall see what happens. Hopefully you can get done what you would like to get done, but if you can't, remember, don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help you do it better next time. You're just hurting yourself and punishing yourself. And does it help? No. And of course, if people are getting sick where you are, please take precautions. If people are getting hurt where you are, please take precautions. But if you are out walking and you hear the mournful howl of the bus horn, that bus with your name on it, yeah. Oh yeah, it's just going to get closer and closer, and hopefully you won't feel the impact. But yeah, oh boy, your corpse. Oh boy, ugh. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very good thing.